Here's a detailed study of Psalm 5 based on the Unlocked Literal Translation, ULT, including an overview, background, structure, verse-by-verse insights and applications, summary, and reflection questions. Overview: Psalm 5 is a morning prayer of David, expressing his trust in God's justice and protection against his enemies. It contrasts the righteousness of God with the wickedness of his adversaries, and ends with a petition for guidance and joy. Background. Author: King David. Context: likely written during a time of personal distress, possibly while fleeing from Saul or dealing with other enemies. Theme: trust in God's justice and the power of prayer in the face of opposition. Literary style: a lament combined with petition and praise. Structure: 1. Plea for God's attention, verses 1 to 3, 2. Contrast between God and the wicked, verses 4 to 6. 3. Petition for protection and guidance, verses 7 to 8, 4. Confidence in God's justice, verses 9 to 10, 5. Prayer for joy and protection, verses 11 to 12, insights and applications, verse 1, give ear to my words, O Yahweh, consider my groaning. Insight: David begins with an urgent plea for God to hear his prayer and attend to his distress. Application: bring your raw emotions and struggles to God in prayer. He listens to your cries. Verse 2, give attention to the sound of my cry, my King and my God, for to you do I pray. Insight: David acknowledges God as his King and God, affirming his loyalty and dependence. Application: submit to God's authority in your life, especially in times of trouble. Verse 3, O Yahweh, in the morning you hear my voice, in the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. Insight: David starts his day with prayer, offering himself as a living sacrifice and waiting expectantly for God's response. Application: begin your day with prayer, surrendering your plans and concerns to God. Verse 4, for you are not a God who delights in wickedness, evil may not dwell with you. Insight: God is holy and just, he cannot tolerate evil or wickedness. Application: examine your heart for sin and repent, knowing God desires holiness. Verse 5, the boastful shall not stand before your eyes, you hate all evildoers. Insight: the arrogant and wicked cannot stand in God's presence, he opposes them. Application: humility and righteousness are essential to approaching God. Verse 6, you destroy those who speak lies, Yahweh abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. Insight: God detests deceit and violence, he will judge those who practice them. Application: speak truth and pursue peace, avoiding deceit and harm. Verse 7, but I, through the abundance of your steadfast love, will enter your house. I will bow down toward your holy temple in the fear of you. Insight: David trusts in God's steadfast love and approaches him with reverence. Application: worship God with awe, confident in his love and mercy. Verse 8, lead me, O Yahweh, in your righteousness because of my enemies, make your way straight before me. Insight: David asks for divine guidance to walk righteously, especially in the face of opposition. Application: seek God's direction in your decisions, trusting him to lead you on the right path. Verse 9, for there is no truth in their mouth, therein must self is. Destruction: their throat is an open grave, they flatter with their tongue. Insight: David describes his enemies as deceitful and destructive, using flattery to trap others. Application: be discerning of those who may manipulate or deceive you. Verse 10, make them bear their guilt, O God, let them fall by their own counsels, because of the abundance of their transgressions cast them out, for they have rebelled against you. Insight: David calls for God's justice to prevail, trusting that the wicked will face the consequences of their actions. Application: trust God's justice, he will deal with the wicked in his time. Verse 11, but let all who take refuge in you rejoice, let them ever sing for joy, and spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may exult in you. Insight: David prays for joy and protection for those who trust in God. Application: rejoice in God's protection and share his faithfulness with others. Verse 12, for you bless the righteous, O Yahweh, you cover him with favor as with a shield. Insight: God blesses and protects the righteous, surrounding them with his favor. Application: live righteously, trusting in God's blessings and protection. Summary: Psalm 5 is a morning prayer that contrasts God's righteousness with the wickedness of David's enemies. David trusts in God's justice, seeks His guidance, and rejoices in His protection. The psalm encourages believers to approach God with honesty, depend on His leadership, and rest in His favor. Reflection questions. 1. How can you make prayer a priority in your mornings, as David did, verse 3? 2. What areas of your life need God's guidance and righteousness, verse 8? 3. How does the description of the wicked in verses 9 to 10 challenge you to examine your own heart and relationships? 4. In what ways have you experienced God's protection and favor, verse 12? How can you share that with others? 5. What does it look like to take refuge in God, verse 11, in your current circumstances?